forgive a little weirdness of all of that. I had to have a little timer, and that gives me time to go and adjust the rest of the stuff. But anyway, hello, welcome, happy Monday, happy Monday. Microphone. Microphone? Can't hear me. Stand by. Now you should be able to hear me. Goodness, can you hear me now? Yes, it was on my headset. You should be able to hear me now. Can you hear me now? I got to wait for the lag for you to, Yes, okay. Yes, I have. Okay. Note to self, check microphone setting before going live. Yes. All these things. Hey, Thrifting Vegas. You guys, I'm a little whooped today. I got home. Is Brenda in the chat? The lovely Rosie the Riveter, Brenda, picked me up from the airport. My flight got in at we landed at 1:15. By the time I got my luggage and everything, we didn't get back here till after 2. And then I couldn't fall asleep because I had half slept on the plane. And so I actually sat and watched TikToks for like another hour. I think I finally got to sleep at about 3:30. I missed a business call that I have on Monday mornings, completely missed it because by that time I was asleep and not wanting to get out of bed. And now my neck is so stiff from hunching over in the air. Like, yeah, red eye. I could see doing an overnight flight in like a first class kind of a stretchy out, lay back kind of a thing. I could sleep, but these seats on Frontier didn't even recline. There was no push your seat back even. It was like the flight there. The little trays in the front, I'm not kidding, they were only this big, not even big enough to like lay down your head on. So the flight there, I was just like, oh. I was so tired on Friday because I literally didn't, I tried to sleep on the plane, but you guys were right. You guys were right. You cannot sleep on a red eye unless you got like a cushy first class seat. So I took an adventure when I got to Orlando. And I thought, you know what? I am just going to thrift Uber my way to Chiefland, where I needed to be, which is about 2.5 hours from the airport. And I just, I went to a Goodwill, was my first stop. And then from that Goodwill, I went to a place called Thrift Mart. And from Thrift Mart, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit bigger trek. I went to get a bite to eat. So I went to Chili's. I treated myself to a nice little lunch for one. And from Chili's, I got an Uber to take me all the way up to Ocala, which was about an hour and a half. I might have even been a little longer than that because we hit heavy traffic. Now, that was an experience because the Uber driver was super not happy. And you can tell I can tell. Some of you can tell. I know. Some of us are really, really intuitive to people's state of mind. I'm super empathic. I pick up on people's discomfort, unhappiness, sadness, all of those things. I absorb it. And this guy was like, he was emitting noises of like, I thought at any moment he was just going to make me get out of the car and cancel the trip. That's how bad it was getting. He was getting upset with truck drivers who would get in front of him. And I was getting really nervous because he was like road raging with some truck drivers. And then he'd pull us up right alongside him and he'd be glaring at him. I'm like, dude. Like, it was terrible. It was terrible. So I went to sleep. I went to sleep, or I pretended to sleep, so I didn't like have to engage any conversation with it. I just went to sleep until he like slammed on the brakes. At this one point, that was like, I did. Oh, I did. I did report it. Yeah, because it was very, very unsafe driving. It was very scary. But correct. Because does anybody drive for Uber? Do you know the destination when you accept a trip? I think that you do. I feel like you would need to. So anyway, so yeah, so I went to Ocala and I think I went to another Goodwill first, which wasn't there. This Goodwill was like more new stuff than used stuff. It was very, very strange. Yes. Okay. Okay. You guys are saying yes, they know. Because he said it was his first time driving to Ocala and he had no idea it was this bad. I'm like, but he made a lot of money on that trip. Let me tell you, it was expensive because it took so long. And I think they get like a premium amount in heavy traffic too, if I'm not mistaken. It's a bad Goodwill. Okay. Well, from there, I went over to the most enchanting antique mall I have been to in a very long time. I could have stayed in there all day. My mind was just put into this relaxing, enjoyable, treasure seeking mode because it was a true antique mall. It was the Ocala Antique Mall and Estates. If anybody's been there, absolutely fantastic. And now I've already told people that I was with in person about a couple of finds there that had I been home, I would have scooped those things up. Because they had some amazing pieces of glass. Now, mind you, they were priced at $100. You'll see it on the video. What did I say? It was $150 is the price they had on it, but it was easily a $300 piece of glass. Easily. It was fantastic. Chapter 2 Vintage Coach shops there. Okay. Oh, you mean the Goodwill? Yes. I feel like I've been to that. I feel like I've been to that Goodwill with them. I feel like we went to Ocala when I got to shop with them. When was that? A couple years ago? It's been a hot minute. I did contact them and see if they were available to get together, but they weren't. They had some family in town. I also tried to get together with George the Antique Nomad, and he's taking care of his mom, so things just didn't work out that way. But I did get to meet and shop with Kat the Nurse Flipper and Dalton. Oh my gosh, Dalton is like the most adorable little guy. And he was, well, you'll see. It's all coming out in the video. He was helping me shop. That boy has a good eye already at 4 years old. I'm telling you what. I did not get to meet up with Jeffrey. I know he's in Ocala as well. Did not get to connect with him. This was a pretty whirlwind trip for me. I got in, well, let's see, 7:30 a.m. is when I got into Orlando. And then I did that whole, shopping up to, I actually went to Gainesville, and George of What the Hale's George picked me up in Gainesville. And I got to go to the ranch, and I got to meet the chickens and the peacocks and the ducks, and it was really surreal to be there. Like in real, I don't know what it is. It's like you see something and you go, it doesn't quite seem real until you step foot there, and then like, well, there it is. Like, oh, okay, I've seen all this on your videos. I followed this whole thing. It was really awesome. And then she took me over. She took me over to my hotel, the Days Inn. Yes, the fluffy butts. Yes, to the Days Inn, where I had a reservation that I thought was all paid for and taken care of. Well, I get there and she's like, I don't have a reservation for you. I said, what are you talking about? I pull it up on my phone and I show her. She's like, oh, it's been canceled. I'm like, excuse me? Oh, it's been canceled. You didn't pass preliminary check. Well, what happened was I used my PayPal card. I used that one because it is the easiest one to shut down if I have to, if anything while I'm traveling. So I used my PayPal card to make reservations, do all that stuff. Um, and a big payment that I make out of it went out the day previous. So there wasn't enough in there to cover the whole thing. So instead of contacting me, they cancel my reservation. No. Oh, sorry, Mrs. Ackerman, your card didn't go through. Do you have another one? Why, yes. Here you go. I'd be happy to take care of that. No warning, just canceled. And she said there was no rooms available, which I also now know was a lie because Christy actually called and they said they had rooms, but they wouldn't take a credit card by phone to reserve the room. But anyway, so there was some nice ladies in the lobby who were also there for this big event that I was going to. And they're like listening to my dilemma because I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Because there's only one other hotel in town. It was also booked up. And she's like, I don't know. I mean, this girl, I say she was sunshine and tulips because she was just a grump. She hated her job. You could tell she hated her job. She didn't care about anybody. Just so the ladies in front of me were like, oh, I think we only have one bed or, we'd be happy to share. And the lady behind the counter, she goes, now you have two beds. And they're like, oh, well, she's like, if you don't mind, you can, stay with us. And we're like, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you for saving my life. So get up to the room, which is on the second floor. Okay. So now I've got two pieces of luggage and a box full of stuff from the antique mall because I couldn't not buy stuff. And so we got to lug all this stuff upstairs. These are not young women. And one of them had a real rough time getting up the stairs. And so we get up there and we open the door and we're like, the smell of cigarette smoke was like stepping into a honky tonk. It was so bad. It was so bad. And she goes, that is really weird because they make us sign a statement saying we won't smoke in the room. I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, we just got to make this work. So we cranked the air on full blast to try to cycle some of it out. And so now it's like, okay, freezing cold room. I'm in there with two people I don't know at all, and they don't know me. And they were nice as could be, like nice as could be. But it's, it's like I kind of like, this was my little vacation time. I really just wanted to like veg and watch TV but no, it's all good. No elevator. No elevator. And this is just a comedy of errors, going on at this point. So then we're like, well, let's go get something to eat. I'm like, ladies, it's on me. It is on me. And so we go down, there's a place, and anybody who watches What the Hales, do I have any other What the Hales fans here? Because that is who I'm talking about. This is where I was going, is they were celebrating reaching 500,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel. And they were doing half mil time to grill was this big event. And it was a fan appreciation event. And so we go over to a little place in town called Bubba-Q's, which if you watch What the Hales, you know the significance of Bubba-Q's. It is like their favorite place to go eat. So we're like, yeah, let's go to the famous Bubba-Q's. We walk in the door and guess who's there? Jeremy and George and Guapo and Rob from Second Sense and Conky's flipping a bit. Like they're all there. The gang's all there. So it was like this little mini party now before the event. And so we just got to hang out for a little bit, with everybody there. And then went to pay the bill and found out that Jeremy had covered everything. And that is the kind of people that Jeremy and George are. They are amazing giving. They do not float their own boat about it. Nobody even knew they were doing it. It was just done, and that to me, like that is so cool. Like that is just so cool. So in turn, he asked that everybody, tip the waitresses really, really good, who were a little overwhelmed at this point because that was a lot of people in there. And we all took really, really good care of them. It's called What the Hales. I'm sure Melissa will put it over there in the chat for you. What the Hales. So their last name, or Jeremy's last name, is Hales. So the name of the channel is What the Hales, and he vlogs his life. He's a storage locker buyer. That's how I found them, because I was a storage locker buyer. I know that world. I've written a book about it. And so I got hooked on watching their videos, couple years ago, and just really connected with them. And Jeremy has become an amazing mentor and friend to me as I've worked on my channel. And, he really knows the analytics and the algorithm and all of that stuff. And then, George makes the thumbnails and just the very, very willing to help, newbies coming into things. And so they have been a tremendous support to me over the years in building the channel. And I can't say enough good things about them. They're genuinely, I know Jeremy gets called a lot of names and he gets told, he's this and he's that and he's bossy. Gosh, I relate to that. So he's been a fantastic role model for me, that you just rise above it and keep doing what you're doing. And it is a business. This is a business, guys. Do I share my life? Do I share all of that? I do. But on the other end, it is a business. And I have to watch the business, what's working, what's not, and run things in that way. But they are amazing people. So long story short, we go to the event the next day, and I think they had 360 people registered for the event, and they had about 325 show up, which, if anybody has ever been involved in event planning and holding an event, that is a phenomenal rate of people actually coming to the event. And it was a rainy day, so we were all kind of packed into this building. I'm not sure it was made for 330 people. But they had all you can eat barbecues. They had, Guapo, Storage Legends is his channel. They put him in a dunk tank. So they did dunk Guapo. They had a break open a safe. They gave stuff away all day long. There was eating this big pile of barbecue contest. Oh my God, it was just karaoke. It was an amazing, fun day. Nobody wanted it to end. Absolutely fantastic. So after all was said and done, I did end up getting my own room over at the Quality Inn that night, and got settled in. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna veg and just enjoy my time away. And then I got a phone call. George says, hey, you want to come over to the schoolhouse and and eat some leftovers and hang out? So she came and got me, and we went and we played spoons. Anybody ever played spoons? That got really interesting. And ate some leftovers and just made some new friendships and connections. And it was a great. I'm still on cloud nine. I'm still on cloud nine. The whole experience was absolutely fantastic. And then Sunday morning, Kat the nurse flipper came and I slept in. Heavenly sleeping in. just laying around, watching TikToks, reading some emails, you know. It was so nice. It was so nice. And but then I was like, Kat, you want to go over to the flea market? There's a true little flea market in that town. And she's like, yeah. So she came and picked me up, and we went over and we did the flea market, did a little filming, and then went back over to the schoolhouse so I could ship some stuff up to send home to myself. And then I was like, okay, how am I getting back to Orlando? I didn't really have a plan. I knew at this point I had too much stuff like to deal with, worrying about thrifting anymore, going that way, and then how am I going to get stuff home? Because my suitcases are full and packed up already. And so I'm like, okay, you might have seen my post out on Facebook. I'm like, anybody along the way here want to help me get home? And so I did look up, what an Uber would cost to get from Chiefland to Orlando, and it would have been about $185. And so Kat says, hold on. And so she got a hold of her daughter. And so Kat's 21-year-old daughter drove me, and I took care of her. And so it all worked out. And thank goodness I got to the airport way, way, way early. I know Becky did offer, but Becky is like 2 hours the other direction. So it would have been a 4-hour drive for Becky to come get me, and then a 4-hour drive for her to go. I couldn't do that to you, Becky. And I really, really appreciate your offer. You have no idea. You know what? I need I need Rachel to bring something in here. Stand by. Texting her. My phone's almost dead too. I didn't get to charge my phone last night. Yeah, the reseller community. I love the reseller community. I truly, truly do. Sad you missed their event. Was trying to go, but we have been dealing with the Humane Society and having to rehome some. Oh, I'm so sorry, Cheryl Shiny Squirrel. Yeah, it really was great. So I get to the airport at about 7:30. My flight doesn't leave until 11. And something is broken. All I see is this ginormous line of people trying to get their baggage dropped. And I'm like, oh boy. Yeah, Rachel's here, but she's not, I don't think she has her phone on her. Hold on, stand by. Okay, see if that works. Yeah, it's spring break. So yeah, I could see where like the crazy was. So, but they had like a conveyor belt that was broken for the luggage, and they had everybody, I mean, it was just pure chaos, and everybody's upset. And this is the one thing I really noticed about Frontier versus Southwest. Frontier employees are not happy employees. Could not find one happy Frontier employee. None of them. And I really try to brighten people when I know it's a stressful. I go out of my way to just like banter with them, say something nice. Oh, no, it was just grumpity grump, 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 grump. I'm telling you, more sunshine and tulips all around. So I gotta show you all what an amazing group of moderators I have. You guys, I did get my flowers, and they are amazing, and I love them so much. I didn't want you to think they didn't arrive. Blue carnations. I'm gonna cry because that tells me how much you know me, because I don't talk about it very often, but you've heard me say My favorite color is blue. My favorite flower is carnation. So thank you, Mod Squad. I love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They're amazing, and they brightened my day like you can't believe. I got to tell you. Yes. Oh, I'm getting to why the video is titled the way it is. I'm getting to that. I promise. So it was rough. And I had paid for the full service with Frontier, not to have to go through the kiosk or anything. And they were like trying to tell me, go to the kiosk, go to the kiosk. And I paid $20 not to go to the kiosk. I just want a person. Check my bag in. So I got through that. And then the TSA line was about 40 minutes long. And I could hear people around me. Oh my gosh, I'm going to miss my flight. Oh my gosh. So I was literally like flagging down TSA personnel to like, hey, can you get this person through? They're going to miss their flight. And like, because they were like too timid to speak up. And like, it was a zoo. It was a zoo at that airport. But I got there early enough that I got to go and just hang out. There was a little Mexican food restaurant there. So I got myself some chips and salsa and guacamole and a little adult beverage, and I just relaxed until it was time to get on my airplane. Got on the airplane, and thank goodness, oh my gosh, it had a full-size tray. Still no reclining seats, unless I was just not able to figure it out. But there was no buttons. There was no way to adjust those seats back. So I literally just, I humped over, for 5 hours. And this is me coming circling back around as to why my neck is sore today. I took the long way in explaining that. But yes. So how many of you peeps live in Florida? How many people do I have in Florida? I know Becky does. I know Shauna does. I'm seeing who else. Of course, I got to wait for the lag for you to hear me say that. Yeah, Beth A, you have to. Like, we get ourselves worked up on things when we are resistant to them. I learned that back when I held events. I literally had a panic attack on stage. I can't tell you why. I was interviewing the CEO of Aristocrat Technologies, who's like this multi-millionaire, but he also happened to be a very, very avid eBay buyer. So I got him to come speak at the event, but it was in like an interview format. And all of a sudden, I just felt like my blood run cold. I got the shakes. I started sweating. I'm like, thought I was going to throw up. And I'm like, I just kind of like handed it over. It's like, hey, do you mind talking to them for a minute? Be right back. And I went backstage and I was just like, and my coach at the time, she's looked me like dead in the eye and she's like, you need to be willing to throw up on that stage. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That would be mortifying. Oh my gosh. And in that moment is when she was able to explain to me, it's not the act of throwing up that is causing you all this anxiety. It's the resistance to it. Because if you stop resisting, then it doesn't matter. And if it doesn't matter, then your body doesn't go into this survival mode of, panic. And I was like, oh, I think I get it. So whatever that thing is, just be willing to go through it. Just be willing for it to happen. Now, it's not always easy. Believe me, I fail still. I get a little reactionary sometimes. I get on the defensive. And then I have to wait, whoop, whop. Remember how best to deal with this so it doesn't affect your health. Because I have Crohn's disease. Stress is the #1 worst trigger for Crohn's. And I really, really don't need a flare. So that's That's why I've learned what I have to do. Okay, you guys are answering. You guys are answering. Let me see. I'm going to scroll back up here a little bit. Oh my, a lot of you are in Florida. Wow. Look at that. You guys are all over Florida. I'm scrolling back to see how many of you are in Florida. I got to tell you, I am a little enamored with a certain part of Florida now. A certain part of Florida that I've actually talked to my children about. What would you think of? Can anybody guess the part of Florida that Danny would be enamored with? It was a certain place I drove through. Let's see. And I've been to several parts of Florida. I've been to Miami. I've been to Tampa. I've now been to Chiefland. I've been to Ocala. Absolutely stunningly beautiful country with horses. I think the horses is a big part of it for me. The horses. Yeah, the horses and everything. But drove through it the first time. I'm like, oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's nice. Drove through it the second time and I was like on Zillow looking at property prices. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I can get 10 acres for less than I can get 1 acre here in Vegas. What? So I'm like, But Rachel did remind me of something. Now I haven't looked to see if Florida is one of the states, but there are states where Quaker parrots are forbidden. And I don't know if Florida is one of those, but if I couldn't have my bougie boy, yeah, that would be a deal breaker right there. I don't know why I ever thought that it was cheaper to live in Florida. I thought Florida cost of living was about the same as California. So I don't know why I never discovered that before. I know it is pretty humid there. It is pretty humid there. But I want to get to the point where maybe I have a summer home, winter home, because I could definitely use the warmer area. Yes, Rachel would love Ocala, but can you have Quaker parrots though? They are legal with no restrictions. Okay. Okay. Moving all the birds and the animals might be a interesting feat, but yeah, believe it or not, there's places where you cannot have a bougie in many places because they are an invasive species. I don't know why. What's a poor little Quaker parrot gonna do? We went through there, and when I seen all them horses in the bars, I told my daughter about you working at one of those and had horses. Told her you have done a little bit of everything. I have done a little bit of everything. I got to meet Gwenya. That was super fun. Coconut Grove, tons of birds. Yeah, I really, really do like the wildlife. I love the wildlife in Florida. There may be I'm getting of an age where I have to start thinking about retirement, whatever that looks like for me. I don't ever see myself being retired and not doing something. But once my kids are grown and doing their own thing, I'm just saying, Florida is definitely on my top of the list. And the other thing that Jeremy is very good at teaching, I mean, he was asked this in his Q&A, is what is the best investment? Real estate. So if we have a dippity-do, as we are projected to have in this market coming up, I might very well invest in some land in Florida for a little retirement. I'm just saying. Because the other thing is, I do want to take the Good Stuff thrift store model and franchise and open other locations around the country and grow this. So I feel like Florida is a big top of the list kind of a place to go next, especially with so many of you there. Gosh, I've already got, whole bunch of peeps in Florida I could count on. Pythons are the invasive species of Florida. Isn't that comforting? I was born and raised in California as well. The summer and humidity is something you have to learn to tolerate. It takes your breath away. So moving here to Nevada was the same thing. When I used to visit Nevada back when I was in my 20s, I would get here, and some of you know, it dries you out. It is so dry here, like your nose bleeds dry. Sometimes it's just so dry here. But now that I've been here for 11 years, I'm acclimated, and I'm sure Florida's the same way. I'm sure it's that way no matter where you go, you acclimate and you get used to, your body gets used to it. Yeah. How about the Good Stuff thrift store model coming here to Tasmania? It could. It could. Wesley Chapel is where I stayed at the last time I was in Florida. That's where I stayed at last time I was in Florida. Rockstar Flipper lives over that direction. Humidity in Montana can get down to 12. The famous "it's a dry heat." Okay, yeah. So it's the difference between putting your head in an oven or a sauna. Either way, it's uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the bugs, but we have bugs here. We have scorpions, which everybody's been asking me for a house update. So we will do that today too. Would Good Stuff in Vegas stay? Oh, absolutely. See, that's the whole premise behind my business model. And this is what I tell you guys. This philosophy works no matter what business you're in. You put your focus into growing and developing something and doing it to the point where it gets on autopilot, where it's got systems, processes, and you're not needed in the day-to-day activities of that. You don't have to be right there in the mix, micromanaging everything. That's where I want to be. That you get the right team in place, and you get the right systems and processes in place, and then everybody knows what's supposed to happen and what they're doing, and things work beautifully. And so my dream is to have locations of the Good Stuff all over the country, because the business model is all about supporting multiple smaller nonprofits who cannot run their own thrift stores and need desperately to fundraise for their causes. We are up to supporting 5 different nonprofits, which is amazing since we just opened in December. We started with 3. They are all doing very well, and they are all happy, and we're getting into a flow of things. We're making some adjustments with things around here, as you know, and the future is super bright, because we are making money for these nonprofits that they wouldn't otherwise be able to generate for themselves. And also it gets awareness of them out there to the community. Every time I'm advertising and marketing and doing, their names are all associated. So it's what's that rising tides raise all ships kind of philosophy. And everybody thinks donate to Goodwill, but these small nonprofits really need the support. And again, you might have stuff to donate, but if they don't have a thrift store, what good does that do them? So with this model, they get supported with that, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I did not lose most of my support team. Nope, I did not. Nope. Betsy is now the manager. Betsy is doing a phenomenal job. And we hired a new guy named David, who he literally started on Thursday, the day that I was leaving. He has a lot of experience in management and the inventory management, the metrics needed, to be able to look. And this is what's needed here, is to be able to look and say, okay, spring is here, kind of predicting what people are going to be buying next week, looking in the back room going, okay, we need to get out all of this item. Boom, let's get it out there. He is going to be phenomenal at that. Everybody loves Betsy. Everybody loves working for Betsy. And she's so smooth. Like, I call her my Rainbow Bright, because when there is a stressful situation around here, something not happening or anything, she does not get riled up. She does not go into panic mode. It is just, let's solve the problem. And that is such an amazing thing, because as my anxiety rises, it's very easy to get me a little bit more riled up. But if I have a calming force and the confidence to know that people are just handling things, that will go a long way in making things better around here. Susan Gallion, where is there no thrift stores? Where are you that there's no thrift stores? Betsy is phenomenal. I agree. We love our Betsy. Matt is back at it. In fact, so I didn't do a live sale on Friday. So right now, as we speak, Matt and Noah are at the go-kart track. So I was like, Matt, can you take Noah go-karting today? Because, he took care of everything while I was gone. And I just want to kind of like give him a reward. Plus, he has a race next week. He's got another big race next week. So he's going to the track that he needs to practice on. Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so Matt is a very, very loyal, willing, hardworking employee. He was sick last week, which was really, really hard. But literally, him and Noah came in. I had some eBay shipping to do. And boom, they got it done in like an hour. I'm like, wow, I like this. Yeah. So we're looking to expand into the online sales a little bit more. There is another unit in this complex I just found out about 1,000 square feet that I'm already talking to the property manager about. I'd like that, because then I can empty my storage units. I can have a space for shipping that is not in our back processing room, and we can kind of stretch out a little bit. And when it comes to that, I might actually do my live sales from there. I haven't seen it yet, so that's why I'm like, I don't know if that would work. But if not, I could do my live sales from this office, because I could get all the stuff out of this office that's kind of clogging it up. But we're already looking at doing that, because we want to add more nonprofits. There are literally hundreds of small nonprofits that need help. And this is such an amazing way to be able to help them grow. My Whatnot Winnie the Pooh tins arrived. Perfect. Outstanding. Has anybody noticed, who's bought something from me, has anybody noticed a huge change? I've been waiting for somebody to say something and nobody said anything yet. Let me see if you have noticed any difference. Now we do still need volunteers. So if you're in Las Vegas and you would like to come help out, sort some stuff, hang some clothes, straighten some shelves, whatever it is, we need lots of help still. We did unfortunately lose several of our volunteers, but I am not concerned. We will put new ones in place, and the ones that are still here are fantastic. Okay, everybody keeps asking me. I took him off the wall because he looks like he's growing out of my head. I actually have a new shelf up over this way, and I have a spot next to it. I may lower the shelf though, and then I may turn my desk so that that's behind me. But yeah, I just got comments about it. Looked like it was growing out of my head, so I take it down. I did stop using packing peanuts. Now, what I am going to tell you, this is a test, because I still truly 100% believe packing peanuts are best for shock absorption. So what is happening is it's going to raise shipping costs a little bit to use the paper. It is also going to cost a little more materials wise, but we're testing it, because I just hear so many people that hate the packing peanuts. But the biggest thing for us, here's what was happening, is they were getting everywhere. They were crumbling and getting everywhere and making a huge, and it was a stress. And I'm like, okay, how do we relieve this stress? Let's test it. Let's make sure these breakables are still going to get to their destinations. Okay, we may have to do some adjustments on shipping and all of that, but we're giving it a go. We're giving it a go. I do not like the biodegradable packing peanuts. Reason is they are biodegradable. So you ship a piece of glass with biodegradable packing peanuts, and there is moisture that gets into that package. Guess what? They start shrinking. If they start shrinking, your item starts moving around and you can have breakage. So you use the paper for a couple of years. Yeah, it's just, literally, it does cost more. I will tell you that right now. Each piece of paper weighs about a half an ounce. So every 2 sheets of paper is an extra ounce. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it takes about 12 to 15 sheets of that paper sometimes. So you're adding 6 to 8 ounces. Now, if you have something that was like 1 pound, 12 ounces with peanuts, it's going to be 2 pounds something with paper. So that does increase cost. I haven't narrowed down like the actual price per sheet of the paper. That would be the next thing I would do. Comparison wise, we're going through a lot more of it. So yeah, that was my phone. That was Noah trying to call me, because he's forgetting that I'm live. Airbags, same thing. Airbags are not going to stay inflated over the course of 4 or 5 days potentially. So again, you risk the item moving around in the package. Now he's texting me. Let me see what he's saying. He's saying, do you want Matt to come back to the store after dropping me off? Yes. Yes, I do. He's going to help me with the whatnot. What about bigger bubble wrap? We use the bigger bubble wrap, but bubble wrap's expensive. You have to, and this is the thing, guys, you have to know your costs. You have to look. Each sheet of that bubble wrap, you should know how much it costs per sheet, how many sheets you're using in a package. Those are your true costs. I learned a lot about all of that through watching Marcus Lemonis on The Profit. It was a television series that he did a couple of years ago. And this is what he does. He goes into these businesses who are suffering and they're not profitable, and he pinpoints all the numbers in all the areas. Why are you not profitable? And a lot of it comes down to simply not knowing these numbers, because if you're just buying shipping materials and you don't know exactly what those shipping materials are costing you per package, and you're not charging enough in shipping to cover that, then that's coming out of the profit of your item. And then you're not making enough profit on your item to give you that working wage that you need to make out of this whole business. And Again, it's running this like a business, running it like a business. Jerry says, I retired in California in 2020, moved to Southern Georgia, one off ramp from Florida. I bought a house here for a payment less than rent in Southern California and the price of gas. Yeah. Yep. We use lots of bubble wrap. But bubble wrap's always going to be more expensive than peanuts. It's probably in line with the paper. And I get the paper in bulk. I get a good price on it. I don't recommend newspaper. I will not use newspaper. It just gives the wrong image, the perception to your buyer, in my opinion. I don't like receiving items wrapped in newspaper, and I won't send items wrapped in newspaper. I get the plain newsprint, like the packing paper. Oh, yes. All of your shipping supplies are tax deductible. For sure. You should be writing off every penny that you spend on shipping supplies. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. I've had a lot of breakage from newspaper items. I'm also having to double box things now, where I didn't need to do that as much before. So anything like super fragile, expensive will be double boxed, which also adds weight and expense. So we just got to keep track of it. A lot of resellers you buy from newspaper. Yep. I get that. Yep. Oh, yeah. I do have a whatnot sale today. So Rachel is here with me today, you guys. And I have not one, not two, but 3 of her original paintings that will be in today's whatnot sale, which I'm super excited about. She gets the funds. Mama's not keeping any of it. She gets everything over what whatnot, takes on the fees, but she is nervously excited about selling her paintings. I did give a preview of 2 of them in my video yesterday. And for anybody who doesn't know, the video that I put out on Sundays is where I go through the store. I shop the shelves, so you get to see what's in the Good Stuff thrift store, and you get a chance to say, hey, sell that in your whatnot sale on Monday. We literally just went through an hour before I did this live and went through the comments and pulled the things that everybody was asking for. And so there's even some stuff over there where like you can just go buy it right now. You don't have to be at the sale. But then there is a whole bunch of stuff that will start at $1. We sell it for what it sells for. Now, let me just say, these sales are to support the nonprofits that are part of the Good Stuff thrift store. And the way that happens is just as if I was a shopper. Let's just make me just an ordinary person walking through the door. I come in and I buy stuff, and then I turn around and I sell it. Now, I do have the advantage that I'm here. I can ring it up. I don't have to buy it ahead of time. That way, if something doesn't get a bid or it doesn't sell, I can put it right back on the shelf. But all of those items are rung up with the price that it has been priced at for the store. And so that way, each nonprofit gets what they would normally get should someone walk in the door and buy it. What happens above and beyond that is that me as a separate business, my reselling business, my YouTube business, that is separate from the Good Stuff. The Good Stuff runs as its own entity, of which I am the managing person of that. I was going to say partner, but I don't have any partners. There's no partners at the Good Stuff. Never was, never will be. I have done this solely on my own. No investors, nothing. I solely run and am responsible for everything that happens at the Good Stuff thrift store. Okay, first, get that clear. So I, as a person now, when those items sell for more than the ticket price, and there is that gap, I've been asked, well, where does that money go? That money goes, number one, I have to pay my labor and shipping materials and all of the expenses associated with selling the items out of that. If there is more left over, like sometimes something will sell really, really well, that is money that I personally then put back into the nonprofits. That's coming from me to the nonprofits so that they are not in any way taken advantage of. They are getting the benefit of when these things sell. And I hope that clears up any rumors that might be floating out there. Now let me catch up on your comments. We have a few minutes left. I think I hear them coming back. Oh, you may have pre-bid on something, Becky. Yeah, Rachel is very, very, very talented. Very talented. Okay. You guys are still talking about Florida. But yeah, and I'm happy to answer any questions. We're not in the black as far as the overhead of the store and everything. I am personally still investing about $5,000 to $6,000 a month of my own money back into the store, back to support the nonprofits. But I didn't have expectations of it being profitable until at least 6 months in. I mean, and even that is optimistic. Most small businesses take a very long time to get to where there's actually money over and above the expenses. So, and I'm happy to do that because this venture for me is not about getting rich. This is not a get rich venture. If I wanted to get rich, I would have opened, I probably wouldn't even have opened. I would have just gotten a little space and done my online sales and just, built up all of my just selling online by myself, because then all that money is mine. I don't have to share that with anybody. But I chose to, my heart has been, ever since I learned about the inner workings of nonprofits and what they go through and what has to happen for them to fundraise and bookkeep and deal with the government and all the things, that was like, wow, these people all have a mission. That's why every nonprofit has a mission statement. They have their path, whether it's a dog rescue or it's like our Ava's Avengers, where they're helping families with sick children, whether it's the Pawtastic Friends that we have, who trains the dogs that are unadoptable to get them to be adoptable. Whatever that mission is, it takes money. It takes money. And they have to, a lot of times, these are not like big business people who, even though they just have a heart for their mission and they want to grow something. So I want to help them with the business end of it. I want to help them not worry about this piece of it and just be able to do that. And that is what this business model is all about. And I am going to continue on that mission and help as many small nonprofits as I possibly can. And I don't intend to or anticipate ever growing rich from it. I make my money elsewhere. I make my money reselling. I make my money from YouTube. I make my money from affiliates. And that's fine. That's where I can continue making that money that makes it possible to put my money into something like this. So the Niche Foundation got put on hold. Again, it's dealing with different personalities. It's something that I am still a work in progress on, at becoming better at reading red flags early about just being smarter with how I bring people into things. And so I do have some amazing people that are ready to step up and be part of the board of the Niche Foundation, but I can't give the Niche Foundation my full attention just yet. This right now gets my full attention. This is where I have to put 100% focus in probably for the next year, but it's still going to happen. It's still going to happen. Yeah. You know where I grow rich? I grow rich in here because I've already gotten to the place of what I consider success. I always said, I just want to be able to go to the grocery store and not read the price tag, but buy the brand that I like. And I have gotten there and I am happy in that place. And as long as I can provide for my kids and my family and my pets, that to me is success. And the rest now, like, I love being able to put that out into other things and help other people. So, and with that, oh my gosh, it's already 2:00. Hello, Jordan. So a lot of you have been sending emails, and now I have been gone since Thursday night. Just getting back. I'm behind. I am back to having to read those emails all by myself. So I will get caught up. I promise. I've skimmed through. Of course, I always look to see if there's anything like super duper pressing. But if you have wanted to purchase something, or you had a question or something, please know that I will be catching up this week on all of my emails. And you will, if the response isn't something that you would have gotten in the autoresponder, then I will respond this week. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Peachy me. Yeah. Oh, I started. Okay, I'll do the quick home update. So backing up, when the last place I was in was supposed to be a place that I could stay many, many years, and that I had a right of first refusal if they went to sell it. So I thought the last place I was in would be the house that I was going to be purchasing and staying forever. What happened was she decided that she was going to have her family move into the house. So therefore, I had to move. I had a very short amount of time to find another place. And with my menagerie of pets, it's not an easy process. So when I found the place that I'm in now, I had not found a place to put the commercial business into. And I'm like, okay, this has a casita. It's got garages. I can just stop the idea of finding a commercial space for now and move into this larger property, larger house, and all will be right with the world. I said, but I want to buy it. So I asked the real estate agent if the property would be for sale, because I noticed it had been on the market. It was taken off the market, put up as a rental. She says, oh, yes, I give them about 6 months, because apparently they were going through a divorce. I didn't know that then. I know that now. And so I'm like, great. Can we write that up into the lease? Can we do a 2-year lease and with option to purchase at the end of the 2 years? And she goes, oh, sure. Comes back with the lease. And by this time, I've stopped looking anywhere else. I'm already applying. I'm going through the process. Comes back with the lease for the place where it's a 1-year lease, option to renew for a 2nd year, and right of first refusal. I was like, well, this isn't what we talked about. She goes, that's all they're willing to do right now. Fine. And then, as you know, long story short, we move in. There is a scorpion infestation. There are non-working air conditionings once again. I still don't have use of the pool and the spa and the fire pits, all the beautiful amenities. None of it works because it's all based on their personal apps and things that have not transferred over to me. And when I have complained about these things, I get told, if you are so unhappy, we'll let you out of your lease. That's the answer I get, which is why I am searching for, now that I have the time. My lease isn't up until later this year. This is what I have the time to find that forever home. And that's what I'm trying to do. Yes, I saw about the Tuesday mornings. I just don't have the capacity to go get anything today. I don't have a truck. I'm I'm swamped. And unfortunately, the timing is just not right for me to go get those, Lorene. But I do appreciate you thinking of me on those. But that's it. That's it. So I am looking for my forever home. And I don't need such a big house anymore because I got the business and I was able to move the business out of the house. So now I can go back to downsize again. But I would like at least half an acre because I want my tortoise sanctuary. That's my next thing. Nope, not allowed to deduct. Not allowed to deduct. I have paid every cent that I'm obligated to pay. Yep. Like, what's my hair doing today? It gets caught on my hoodie. Time for a haircut. But I appreciate those of you who are praying for me and thinking about me through all of this. I will find that the right place will be there. Everything happens for a reason and in an order, and we may never know what that is, but I'm okay with it. Today is a day that I'm given the opportunity to look at things and go from a place of, okay, this is where you are today. What's next? Where do we go? Where do we grow? Where do we flex? Where do we build? Where do we change? And that's what I'm going to leave you with. So don't get stuck in what you wanted it to be, what it should have been, all of that, because that keeps you stuck. Look at what does the future hold with what I'm given right now. And I hope to see all of you at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. No, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time over on Whatnot. I'll have Melissa put the link right over there one more time. If you've never signed up for Whatnot, you can use that link to get yourself $15 of free money. Come over and spend it. And it doesn't have to be with me. It can be with anybody over on Whatnot. If I don't have anything, somebody has something over there that'll be fun to buy. And with that, everybody, go be profitable and make it fun. We'll see you on